Samus' arch-nemesis, Metroid's second most iconic character, and one of Nintendo's most brutal villains, is a bundle of mystery. We don't know his origins, his motives, or how does he keep coming back so many times? Well, today, I am here to answer one of those mysteries, the mystery of Ridley's past, and how he is not only from the CHOZO species, but he could very well be a product from Beak. Ridley's past is a mystery. We don't know what he did before becoming a space pirate, or where he came from. We do fortunately know his life cycle thanks to Metroid Other M, and we know a bit about his pirates days before Samus became a bounty hunter, thanks to the Metroid manga. We've been given some information about Ridley in Prime series as well, through the scan feature. Ridley may look like a savage mindless brute, but looks can be deceiving, because he is actually very intelligent and a cunning creature. He was once upon a time the leader of the space pirates, before Mother Brain took over. But while he may be a leader in the 2D Metroid series, Prime seems to indicate that he's a lackey of some kind, as he follows missions given by the High Command. Speaking of the Prime games, one of the series staples upgrade, the Screw Attack, appeared in Metroid Prime 2 and Metroid Prime 3, but its origin is hinted not to be of CHOZO, but rather a creation of both CHOZO and Luminoth together, or perhaps not even them, but something even older. But it is now undeniable that the Screw Attack is deeply integrated into CHOZO technology at this point, and that it is synonymous to the CHOZOs now. But what does the Screw Attack have to do with anything? Why, just about everything. In every game that Ridley appears in, you get the Screw Attack from him or somewhere near him. In Metroid Zero Mission, the Screw Attack is located in Norfair, the zone just before reaching Ridley Zone, and likely the zone that is governed by Ridley. In Super Metroid, it is once again near Ridley, but this time, the upgrade is guarded by the Golden Torizo statue, a hostile CHOZO statue that seems to protect some kind of artifact from the CHOZOs. As according to Metroid Prime 1, the Torizo statues are like sentries or guardians to protect CHOZO technology, and the only thing that can be found after defeating the Golden Torizo is the Screw Attack. This to me seems to confirm the Screw Attack is of CHOZO technology. In Metroid Fusion, it's not even subtle on how Samus obtained the Screw Attack. Samus needs to defeat Neo Ridley Core X and absorb the X Parasite to obtain their Screw Attack. In Other M, upon defeating Ridley, Ridley will make his grand escape through the walls of the geothermal power plant, but he does a move that looks eerily similar to a Screw Attack, which Ridley have never shown to perform before. Here, watch this. While it's not like Samus who tucks her body in to perform a spin, Ridley nonetheless does a spin that is similar to the real life crocodiles and alligators when they do their death roll, which is a maneuver they do to tear off flesh from their prey by biting on the prey followed by spinning their entire body. Ridley's spin is very similar, and if you think about it, the motion looks like when you drive a screw into the wall. What about the games that had Ridley, but you don't get the Screw Attack near him? Well, in Metroid Return of Samus and Samus Returns, the planet is SR388, and it is of CHOZO origin, and so it wouldn't be too surprising to find a few Screw Attacks sprinkled here and there in the labyrinth. But Ridley appeared in the game, no? Only in Samus Returns, and it is more of a surprise reveal where he is the true final boss of the game. For those who have played Return of Samus long ago or knew about the plot of Return of Samus, so it's no surprise that you don't get the upgrade near Ridley's encounter, or else the game will already be over by the time you get the upgrade. In Metroid Prime 3, it's very easy to explain why you don't get the Screw Attack from Omega Ridley. Drum roll please. Bird magic. Well, more like bird commerce, because long ago, the CHOZOs made a trade with the Reptilicus, and upon scanning it, it says, statue represents Stella, and the first CHOZO gift of knowledge bestowed upon the Reptilicus. Screw Attack over here was represented as a symbol of knowledge, and it seemed to be held in very high regard, as the Screw Attack symbol is the logo for the Metroid series. That aside, both Ridley and the CHOZOs both have beaks, and both share the same amount of digits on their hands, but drawing design similarities could very well be straw grasping, as they share enough similarities and differences that one can argue for or against Ridley for being a CHOZO. Such as, why would he sport wings when most CHOZOs don't, except Beak and the ancient CHOZOs? Or why does he have a bladed tail when all the CHOZOs don't even have a tail. Then we have Ridley's evolution, something that we know Ridley goes through thanks to Other M. But we're not sure about the CHOZOs, since the only ones we've seen so far are old or hostile. But something does pique my interest with one of Ridley's evolution, and that is the baby form, otherwise known as Little Birdie. A dragon-like creature's infant stage is called Little Birdie, even though the creature did not have wings nor a beak. Why a bird of all things to be nicknamed after? It's almost as if Ridley's genes carry some kind of CHOZO DNA before turning into the creature that he is. Still don't think that he's a bird? Well, now let's look at Metroid Prime's website log. For Ridley, on the website, it said that Ridley is a bird-like creature. Now let's look at Ridley's moveset compared to those of Ravenbeak. They share many similarities. On the first phase of Ravenbeak's fight, he is protected against most attacks, similar to when Ridley went into his Black Ridley phase in Other M, which rendered Ridley impervious to most attacks. In the second phase, Ravenbeak is flying, and he would slam down to where Samus was to try to attack her with his talons and wings. This move looks like a combination of Ridley's down air and down smash attack from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Ravenbeak would also charge to the side of the wall after a brief pause, similar to Ridley's up special in Smash Ultimate. And let's not forget about Ridley's iconic Space Pirate Rush move, where he grabs his prey and drives their head along any surface. While Ravenbeak doesn't have a Space Pirate Rush move, he does grab Samus at the neck at some point where he says his iconic quote of the grab that looks almost like a tamer version of Ridley's command grab from Smash. There's a lot of similarity between Ridley and Ravenbeak, maybe a bit too much. So how does all this link back to Ravenbeak? Now what if I told you Ridley is a genetically modified clone of Ravenbeak, designed to be bigger, stronger, and more brutal? We know Ravenbeak is not a stranger to experiments, as he is the donor to provide Samus Morgan DNA. He also commissioned the creation of Experiment Z57. Mind you, that is Z57, whereas Z1 to Z56. Ravenbeak is also no stranger to cloning, as he is willing to clone Samus to make an army of her if she does not obey him. It seems at one point Ravenbeak also cloned Kraid. Kraid is the second boss fight in Metroid Dread, located in Kataris, but it appears the Kraid that we see in Metroid Dread isn't the same Kraid as the one in Super, as confirmed by one of the Dread reports, stating that a creature similar to Kraid is here on CDR. The chances of this Kraid being a clone of the original, though, is very highly likely, as I explain my reasoning why in this video in the description linked down below, about how ZDR Kraid is a clone from the one from Super. So if this is all true where you clone Kraid, surely Ravenbeak could have cloned Ridley as well, but he chose to clone Kraid from Super. Maybe it's because Ravenbeak see no purpose to clone a clone that was a clone of himself. Ravenbeak and Ridley also share common traits as well, as they are both leader among their people. Ravenbeak is the leader of the Morkans, just like Ridley is the leader and commander of the Space Pirates. They both have huge ego. Ravenbeak, while pretending to be Adam, he would constantly remind Samus how even at her most powerful, she would not be able to defeat Ravenbeak, and how a buddy of his saw Ravenbeak take his shirt off in the shower, that he said that Ravenbeak had an 8-pack, that Ravenbeak was shredded. Ridley displayed the same egotistical behavior, where he would build the Ridley robot, modeled after himself, as a sign of power. Speaking of robot Ridley, did you know that Ravenbeak also built a giant robot of himself in the Green Emmy room? You can see parts of a giant robot being built in the background. When the first few Dread trailers released, I thought this was a giant Ridley robot being built in the background, but it was evident later on when Ravenbeak was revealed that it was a robot of Ravenbeak. If I had a penny for every villain in Metroid that would build a giant robot of themselves, I would have 2 pennies, which isn't much, but it's funny how it coincidentally happened twice already. Or is it? What if it's not a pure coincidence, but it was genetics that hardwired into both of them to build a robot of themselves? If Ridley is indeed an experiment, it would explain why the Virtual Console retranslation of Metroid games states Ridley is an indigenous life form of Zebes. We know the CHOZOs are foreign to Zebes when they crash-landed their ship, occupied by Phantoon in Super Metroid a long time ago on Zebes. If Ridley was an experiment by the CHOZO, it will very likely to be conducted on Zebes, and therefore considered as an indigenous life form of Zebes. Still not convinced? Well, how about this last incriminating piece of evidence that once and for all confirms Ridley is a clone of Raven Beak? I've cracked the case. Case closed. And that's the end of this theory. But what are the chances of Ridley being Raven Beak's genetically modified clone? Probably unlikely. But it would be funny if it does turn out to be true, as Samus can add another father to her list of daddies now. But Raven Beak clone aside, Ridley being a CHOZO experiment could very well be true, and would certainly make for an interesting theme of the two genetically modified babies of the CHOZOs interlocked in a battle forever. How did you find this theory? Feasible or not? Comment on the section down below, and leave a like on the way, and why not subscribe as well? It's all free. Until next time, bye for now.